Well, we're not in my kitchen today. We're out in my backyard. And like any good gardener, I have pots of various things to make sure that rabbits don't get at them. So sitting right here is a pot of lovely sorrel. And we're going to take this sorrel and we're going to make it into this very exquisite French dish, a sorrel cream sauce with a vermouth reduction to it. Made famous by the chef Pierre Troisgros. Let's go make it. Okay, we're back in the kitchen now, and in this saucepan, and it's a saucepan because this is 10 inches wide, 3 inches deep, nice big flat bottom, straight sides. I have 3 tablespoons of butter, and to that I'm adding 3 finely minced shallots. So now for your recipe, you might want to do 1 tablespoon of butter and just 1 shallot. But I like this sauce enough, and it's also good on other things, so I'm making a little extra. So we're just going to put those shallots in there. And we don't want them to color, we just want them to nicely soften in all that delicious butter. Now taking a look at our sorrel, so here's 1 leaf of sorrel, and just like spinach, it has that very thick stem that goes up through the leaf. So what we're going to want to do is fold it in half and pull that center stem off. So again, this recipe works great because it's 3 tablespoons of butter, it's 3 shallots, and I have about 3 ounces of sorrel. So this sorrel now, I'm just going to roughly chop. We want it in small pieces, so it's going to get added to the sauce. We don't want big pieces that are going to, take away from the rest of the dish. We just want it there in like an accent. We don't want too much because we're making a sauce, we're not making pesto. So let's just let those simmer a bit, and we're going to let that soften those shallots. And then again, everything's a multiple. Here is 3 cups of vermouth. Now some recipes will say a little bit of vermouth, more fish stock, but I don't want the fishy flavor with the really fresh wild salmon that I bought. So I'm going to use vermouth. I like that flavor. So let's just let that simmer down, and then we'll come back and we'll add our vermouth. Okay, here are the shallots after about 5 minutes. Just very slightly tan colored now, so I'm going to slowly pour in our 3 cups of vermouth. And we're going to let that reduce. I'm going to let that reduce probably, the real recipes say, reduce that down to a syrupy texture. I might do it just a little bit above, maybe get that down to about 2/3 of a cup. Because I'll still want the sauce to have, I don't want it to be paste. I want it to be enjoyable and almost as good to eat plain, like you would want it as a soup or something like that. So we'll check back. So this has taken a while, but we can see how greatly reduced the vermouth, the butter and onions shallots have become. Can easily draw through that. It's getting to that great state. So now we're going to take 3 cups. This will just about kill my sisters, of heavy whipping cream. And pour that all in. And the same thing here. We're going to let this cook for a little bit and start to reduce out some of the water, the little bit of water that's in heavy cream. This is just going to become nice and velvety. And this is one of the great things about cooking. The first time with a recipe, you're going to want to cook it exactly as the recipe says. And then after that, you're going to make your own variations to get it to the way you want it to be. So in some recipes, after this reduces, it's going to have you strain it, to remove all those little bits of shallots. But I sort of like them, so I'm not going to do the straining portion. Here we are back in the kitchen. We have thin salmon fillets cooking in a hot pan. No oil, no butter. A little residue of some bacon grease in there, not much. We have our sauce simmering away. So I'm going to just take the fish, do a quick flip. Let that finish cooking. That'll take about 45 seconds to a minute. Back to our sauce. Here we have our beautiful sorrel, the whole reason for making this sauce. So we're just going to put this in. Give it a little stir. So the sauce is done, but we're going to add just a little speck of butter just to make it that much better. Swirl that around. Now the interesting thing, this is the change that he made, was that usually you put the meat, the fish on the plate, you put the sauce on top, but here we are going to get a nice bowl, ladle a bit of the sauce into that. And top it with the fish looking a bit naked, but oh, that's good. See you next time.